We have started to record the most recent session of SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session. It is Tuesday, June 6th, 2023. A reminder that tomorrow, day one of demonstrative speeches begins. At my Yahoo email address, which I'll show you later, I already have one person who has sent me the documentation with a recording on Loom. What I want to do is to very early on go to Blackboard, because I have added something that's going to help you over the next few days and over the first summer session for your preparation. It is at the instructor information area of Blackboard. At this location, I have made one change. Of course, just obviously by rote, there is the announcement, with the difference being we're in week 2. At instructor information, there is a change. I have added a link to my YouTube channel, giving you an opportunity to look deeper into a lot of the documentation that's going to be available for you to research, whether it be this week for demonstrative speeches or for any of the other following presentations. When you click on that link, you've seen it before, here is what you'll find. It's updated daily. There is a video from yesterday's class session, usually in the area of about 90 minutes or so. For your benefit, the best thing to do is to go down to radio, TV, speech, and media materials and just find the playlist. There are representative samples here of demonstrative speeches dating from the pandemic. Most of my courses since that time for the basic course have been online. Examples from fall 2020, the fall intersession of 2020, spring 2021, first summer 2021, and first summer 2022. That does not mean, however, that you can't record on YouTube itself. There are going to be some of you who may not necessarily use Loom or related technology. That's why the first 2 speeches that we're going to see today come specifically from people who recorded off their smartphones. But before we go any further, let me show you something else. When you want to examine Loom technology, here's something to consider. Go to Google and do this. If you do a Google search for Loom 2023, this video pops up from January of this year. How to use Loom to record your screen for free. Now, you don't necessarily have to do it that way, but it just shows you that there are many instructional videos on how to use the technology. As you can see, whenever you have a non-paid subscription to YouTube, you have to pay for the privilege to get in. So we'll skip the ads. This is a 10-minute video. It is broken down into different sections on recording with Loom, your camera, the recording sessions itself. Let me play a little bit of this video just in case you would like a video tutorial. You can check it out later on your own.
Do you want to record your screen quickly, easily, and for free? Well, then Loom is probably the best option for you. So in this video, I'm going to show you everything you need to know to get started with Loom. Now, first things first, Loom is absolutely free for up to 5 minutes of video recording and a total of 25 saved videos. And you can use Loom on any of your devices, including iOS and Android. For today's example, we're going to be looking at the desktop version, but the features and functionality is essentially the same across the different systems. So once Loom has been installed on your machine and you launch the Zoom app, you'll be presented with this dialog. You'll also notice here in the left-hand corner of the screen, you can see my webcam, and I also have some controls which are creeping out from the left-hand side of my screen. Now, first things first, we need to decide what we want to record. By default, you typically will want to record both your screen and your camera, but that's not the only available options to us. By selecting this dropdown, we can choose to only record the screen, which will make my webcam go away.
As you can see from the bottom, the video lasts more than 10 minutes. Let's just, as we have done with early Blackboard Class Collaborate Ultra videos of this class, let's just dip in and out.
Next up, we can choose if we want to record the entire screen or if we just want to record a particular window on our computer. I can go through a demo of a product. I can go to a web browser. Now I can maybe come up here and select a filter or three distinct sections for my video. All I need to do is select this middle section here, delete some of these videos.
Let's take a look at the final minute and a half.
On this video, I can see that it has already been viewed and someone has commented and reacted to it. So if I click on this video, I can go into those details. I can scroll down to the bottom and see exactly when they watched this video, 55 minutes ago. I can see what comment they've added, and perhaps they've added their comment at a certain time. This can be especially beneficial if you want to see what people are commenting on or if they're addressing something specifically in that video. Returning to the My Library screen, we can also take some bulk actions on our videos. So if I select these three videos, for example, I can come down to the bottom and I can either share them with specific people or edit their settings as a whole. I can choose to move them to a different folder. I can archive or delete those videos all with just a single click. And when I'm ready to record my next video, I can either launch it from my desktop or I can select this record a video button here in the lower left-hand portion of my screen. Now, if you have questions about how to use Loom for screen recording, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. And if you're interested in more free tools to make your life that much easier, be sure to watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.
Remember, guys, what you're looking at is not officially from Loom. It is a video from a website, YouTube channel called Simpletivity. I think finding any kind of documentation that is going to help you record your videos is extremely helpful. You can go to Loom, you can use other technologies, but most of the time with online public speaking courses, you're going to utilize, as you've seen from a lot of the presentations we have shown so far, you're going to incorporate your webcam into the screen. But keep this in mind. First and foremost, the pause is for intentional effect. Don't worry about incorporating your webcam until you've got the slides exactly the way you want. Only then do you determine what's the best location for me to place my webcam on the screen. I think it's probably in your best interest to put it on the upper portion of the screen. If you've got more than enough room, I would say probably the upper right-hand corner if I'm a student. But as you've seen, and just with the gentleman on the video, a lot of people will defer to the bottom left, whatever works for you. But then there's something else. Where is your face and shoulders in location to that screen? Most of you are going to use the circle effect. I did show you a presentation last week where it was a little bit larger, but most of you are going to be using the circular effect. But you always want to double check to ensure that people can see you. We had one presentation yesterday where the gentleman apparently had his webcam set down on his desk because most of the time he was looking down and there was a lot of dead space above his head. You could actually see the ceiling of the location in which he was recording. So double check all of that. And then there's something else. And again, I'm doing all of this for effect. Then there's something else. Watch closely. Do you have quality light where you're recording? I've got a ring light on my camera, but I think it's very important for all of you to determine, first and foremost, again, the quality of your slides. Put them in an order where you're going to remain extemporaneous and conversational. Then think about where your face is going to be located in the screen and double check all of this in advance. Then check the lighting. In this case, I'm in the living room of my house. I've got the overhead lights on as well. So I want to create a positive visual image because you're seeing everything behind me. So it's a little bit of a different circumstance. Try to game plan all of that out. Now let's return to Blackboard. We'll go back to the instructor information area. We'll leave it there for just a moment. At this location, a reminder, you've got a link to the SAU Mass Communication website where there's tons of different demonstrative speech topics, which we'll look at shortly, a new link to YouTube, and then at the syllabus area, our course itinerary, what we're doing for the week with demonstrative speech topic selection today, and then demonstrative speech day 1, Wednesday, demonstrative speech day 2 on Thursday. You'll always know what day your presentations are going to be shown from examining the course speech schedule. Every Wednesday, tomorrow, demonstrative speeches from Askew, Brewer, Brown, Dean, Easter, Green, Hall, Henderson, Jordan, and Lewis. On Thursday, day 2, Malone, McCamey, Oliveris, Orvis, Perry, Ray, Roy, Sams, Tell, and Welch. That brings us back to the syllabus itself. Scroll to page 4. Where are you going to be sending me the videos of your speeches? Right here. Prof. James Reppert, SAU at yahoo.com. I'm going to show that to you one more time in a moment for a reason. Prof. James Reppert, SAU at yahoo.com. Then it gets to the point where you're going to be sending your video, and you always want to double check to make sure that you send it properly with that link attached. So far, I have one person who has sent me a video. Let me go back to Yahoo to the way that I see it, and then I'll go to the file for this course under SPCH 1113. Whenever I'm accessing my Yahoo email, this is what I'm going to see. Then I scroll down. When I click on this, notice that there's documentation on top that is in boldface. So as of right now, we've got one presentation that has been sent to me. Same person, shared a Loom. Now I'm not going to click on the Loom itself. I just want to show you what it looks like whenever I open the email. So as you can see, Jordan shared a Loom. He talked about this yesterday with me after class, how I write poetry. And that's how he has it set up. Now I should remind all of you that when you start, always remember to go into the slideshow mode so we don't see all of your slides on the side. go into the slideshow mode. So it's going to be a full screen with the slide and then wherever your face is. But that's what Jordan's material looks like when it's sent to me. Now we're going to move on. I want to also reinforce that on my website, when you scroll down to SPCH 1113, I have a ton of respective demonstrative speech topics from years gone by. And I think those representative topics will help you because they cover the gamut with a wide variety of topics. This is what you'll see at my website, but I'm going to show you Google Drive first. This is what I'm going to be referring to in just a moment. All of this data is going to be of great assistance. And remember, when you're at my website, you can access it now through the instructor information area of Blackboard. But let's examine some particular demonstrative speech topics, not necessarily going through the slides themselves in detail, but what has been done in terms of a process speech, how something works, how something operates, something that might be cooking or crafting or hobbies. They include, among others, application of eye makeup. We showed you that earlier. Articulation test, blueberry cheesecake, build a recycling bin with aluminum cans, checking blood glucose, chicken bow tie festival pasta, chicken spaghetti, Chinese paper cutting, I showed that to you, chocolate no-bake oatmeal cookies, drawing in proportion, Elgato capture device, fill in scarce brows. Anything involving hair care or makeup certainly works. Grandma's banana pudding, hook, line, and sinker, also known as fishing techniques, Chinese green tea, dream catchers, pasta, sheet music, jaundice and colic in infants, kvass, we showed you that, including the cat fascinated by the fizz from that weak Russian beer, making a mask for Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, no-bake Hershey pie, Oreo balls, keeping in mind that if you're going to be doing a speech that involves cooking, really a good idea to have the final product someplace near the title slide. The materials, which are the bullet points, and then putting it in steps. So whether it's a cooking speech or a makeup speech, remember with the makeup speech that I showed you, it first followed the step process. Very attractive, giving you credibility as a speaker. Looking at all of these particular visuals, which will stimulate your ability to remain extemporaneous and also make the audience interested in the quality of what you're doing, because it's not just bullet points, it's bullet points and images. And I refer to images as photos or screenshots or possibly a still frame from a video clip. And from that, we move on to peach cobbler, planting flowers in containers, preparing for deer season, Sadza, showed that to you, scuba gear, shooting trap correctly, singing in a choir, stringing a tennis racket, lei making, ukulele, yo-yo, factor polynomials by grouping, somebody really into mathematics, how to drive a standard. Now that's audio. And here we have, now remember, it says demonstrative speech audio, but for some reason, the updates to Google are not allowing these to play, which is why I have so much material on my YouTube channel. So these won't actually play on the website when you click on them. But some of the topics also include how to keep a healthy throwing arm. Now, the reason it says audio is that it's a slideshow, but they didn't necessarily have a webcam on their computer or it didn't work. Stimulate hair growth, tortilla pinwheels, chocolate chip cookies. Now we get into video right here. Create a build in Dead by Daylight. I showed that to you. Curling your hair different ways. Decorate a Christmas tree. Egg custard pie. You saw that. Glass music frame souvenir. I'm going to show you that today. Grilled cheese. Grilling ribs. Home interior decor color scheme. Probably show that to you today. How to babysit. You saw that. We have how to be a mascot. How to crochet. Rotel dip. International travel. Makeup. We saw this from Sarah yesterday, making a shirt using heat transfer vinyl. Some of these titles under videos we've seen. Mexican chicken, peanut butter blossom cookies, Philly cheesesteak sloppy joes, poor man's pie, standing back tuck, teaching your dog a new trick. We saw that. And then we get into other different types of projects. But a reminder, whenever you're scrolling through any of these topics, it's a good idea always to examine what is their storytelling structure? What did they use to stimulate their ability to remain extemporaneous and conversational throughout? For instance, from the summer of 2017, planting flowers in containers. You get immediate credibility at the outset from the attractive nature of the visuals and how neat it is. 3 different images, and then a consistent font style, who the student is, and when that course was offered. How can you utilize all of these items, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2 bullet points? How can you utilize that to discuss planting flowers in containers to demonstrate a process and make it interesting and understandable for any audience, whether inside a classroom or online, to understand and appreciate? Don't underestimate the importance of the attractive nature of your visuals, which I've shown you for that reason. Slides go, in case you want to add something to any of your presentations if you're using Microsoft PowerPoint or Google Slides. You know from the syllabus that you only need 6 slides, but she's got a dozen. And the reason she did it was because she was going through these relatively quickly. But they're not overly inundated with words. In all of my classes, as you're well aware, I'll say, now let's go from back to front. Think about the time it took for her to arrange all of these visuals to maximize her ability as an effective, in this case, demonstrative speaker. It is extremely attractive and very well thought out. I want to return to the syllabus for just a moment to remind you via Blackboard some of the requirements in terms of time. Just scroll down, and you're well aware that your presentations should be in the area of 5 minutes. If you're using Loom, realistically, you're going to be somewhere in this category. If you go beyond 30 days, then you're pretty much locked into 5 minutes. But early on, if you go over, it's not going to be an issue. And keep in mind, in 30 days from now, we're going to be past the 4th of July. So you're not going to have to worry about having an extended subscription to Loom. But I also wanted to reinforce that there are many different technologies available through different platforms that don't necessarily utilize Loom, where you can insert your webcam into your slides. I think what's important is for all of you, find what is best and also utilize what's going to work best for you. Now, when we are practicing, remember some of the elements from what is available on Blackboard, which is the checklist, the SAU speech critique. I'm going to return to that before I show you a couple of YouTube videos and then some examples that I have not shown you yet from previous online courses that are demonstrative in nature. But just think about some of the elements of delivery, including eye contact and the vocalics, ers, ahs, ums, uhs, dropped G's, like, you know, wanna, gonna, kinda, and something that I talk about more and more as we move on, a smooth delivery. Not everything is going to be perfect. If you look at my video online from yesterday via Blackboard, as opposed to what you see on the YouTube channel, you'll notice that I trimmed the first 12 seconds, because when I say we have started to record the class and give the date, there was no video on the screen. Only after 12 seconds, right when I'm giving the day and the date, and I look down on my computer screen to double check everything, only then did a visual come up on Blackboard. So I trimmed 12 seconds. For all of you, usually you're going to be recording 4 or 5 different takes, and then you're going to send me the one that you think is most representative of your abilities. I've told you on many times previously that save all of those takes that we don't see. What happens when you lose your train of thought? What happens if you make a vocalic and you think, ooh, and all of that comes up and you just stop? It happens to me. It happens to everyone. The most important element for all of you to remember is just pause, relax, come across as natural as possible on screen, because the camera does not lie. Ideally, your personality is going to come through on the screen, and that's why I want to go to the speech critique area at the course syllabus. Course syllabus, speech critique. When I'm grading you, this is an unofficial guide. Think about your content with research being thorough, organization logical, introduction relevant, main supporting points apparent, conclusion compelling, fairness inclusive, analysis thoughtful. Then when it comes to delivery, is your extemporaneous quality continuous, conversational style expressive, eye contact full, articulation, enunciation clear, vocal variety varied, nonverbal cues poised? Is your persona authentic? When you're looking at the actual visuals, is your design uniform? Think about what you've seen with all of the presentations so far, particularly what I just showed you from summer 2017 with the planting flowers speech. Think about the font, color, shading being readable, spelling, grammar accurate, text image balance comparable. Now remember, the images, as I mentioned, are the photos, any types of screenshots or maybe video clips. Is your interactivity recurrent? If you want to show a website or a video clip, remember, as I told you yesterday, to pop in your speaker, make sure that you've got your headset plugged in to your computer, or you're going to get double audio and it will sound muted. It'll also sound muffled. Is your storytelling structure dynamic? And are your aesthetics engaging? All of those elements are really helpful to an overall quality public speaking approach, which brings us to different types of demonstrative speeches, both from YouTube, if you decide to record on your smartphone, and others. The first presentation that you're going to see is from the fall semester of 2020. The 2 YouTube videos that you're going to watch that are demonstrative in nature, I've got closed captioning on the screen. The first one is Matt. He is recording, I believe, in an area of his church. He is a volunteer fireman, and I want to make certain that I've got the video set up. It is called How to Put the Wet Stuff on the Red Stuff. This is shot off of his smartphone. He's in a multimedia area of his church, and pay particular attention to how he has this set up. He's got his laptop plugged into a widescreen television in his church. You recall we've seen others in previous course sessions do basically the same thing. This very much reminds me of how you would do it in a classroom setting. The closed captioning is on. Our first demonstrative speech of the day is what it's like to be a volunteer fireman.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you all had a wonderful Labor Day weekend. My name is Matt Huffman, and tonight I'm going to be doing a demonstrative speech on a very technical term that we use in the fire department, and that is how to put the wet stuff on the red stuff. A little bit about my background so that you know that I know what I'm talking about. I am one of 2 assistant chiefs at the Appleton Volunteer Fire Department. I've been on the department since 2008. I am a medical first responder certified by the state of Arkansas. I'm also a storm spotter certified by the National Weather Service. Some of my responsibilities, I train new members that get on the department and also do refresher courses on pump ops, stuff like that for other members on the department. I also approve members to operate the apparatus that they're going to be using. I need to feel confident that they're confident in knowing what they do, and then I'll approve them to operate that apparatus. So just like any how-to video, you have to have ingredients. So one of our ingredients is for a pumper. This is our pumper at Appleton. It's pumper 851. It is a 1995 Pierce Dash. We've had this apparatus since 2018. It is the first pumper out on structure fires that are inside of our district, vehicle fires, vehicle extrications, stuff like that. It is also our second pumper on mutual aid. We have 2 other pumpers, but this one is our second truck that goes out to mutual aid for other departments on their structure fires, just if they need that truck. It has a 1,500 gallon per minute water pump and a 750 gallon tank. You're also going to need a pager for when that tone drops. Not music, but your fire tone. Your fire pager, your county dispatch, they use that to contact us. Each county department has their own tone, so that way whenever the dispatcher hits that button for that department, everybody knows that that's their department, and your pager will go off. Dispatch will tell you, hey, you have a structure fire or whatever at whatever address that it's at. Then each member will respond. So I want to set up a little scenario for you, just kind of get your imaginative juices flowing and kind of feel what it's like to be a volunteer firefighter. So you're asleep, 1:30 in the morning, pager goes off for a structure fire at 1234 Pine Street. Your dispatch tells you that. You're asleep in your own bed because most volunteer fire departments, we do not sleep at the station. That's mainly the paid guys. So you're going to get dressed, run out the door, jump in your vehicle, and to the station you go. So you are one of 3 firefighters that arrive at the station first. You're going to go to the pumper. The senior firefighter that's going to be there, he's probably going to assign you to be the operator of the pump. So you and him and the other guy get in the pump, and away you go to the scene. So you're going to arrive on scene. How to operate the pump? You're going to stop that apparatus safely. We don't need you sliding in sideways, taking out cars, or the homeowner standing there watching his house burn. That probably wouldn't be too good for you or him. You're going to place your truck in neutral. Set your park brake. Little yellow button right here. Set it. Put it in neutral. You're going to get out of your vehicle. Make sure that there are no overhead obstructions. You don't want to park underneath the power line that's connected to the house, because what happens if it burns? Where's it going to land? Right on top of your truck. And then you're all electrocuted. You're going to go back, you're going to chalk your wheels, make sure that your pump don't roll. As you walk back up, you're going to pull your tank to pump valve. What that does is it releases the water out of your tank and into your pump. You're going to get back up in your cab. You're going to flip this switch right here. What that does is it takes your pump from road mode to pump mode. You're going to then place your apparatus back in drive. As you're coming back out of the truck, you're going to make sure that the other guys, they should have already been pulling hose lines, getting them all unkinked, ready to go. So what you're going to do is you're going to open the discharge for that line, which will be this right here. All of our hoses are color coded, so yellow, we'll go with yellow. That way, if you're in a big frantic, you know which valve to pull. That's what you pull. You would then increase your throttle to your desired PSI. On your PSI gauge, it tells you right here, we want you to go to 100 PSI at first. Then you will set your relief valve to help with pressure in case you have to switch to or open another line. That will keep that relief valve will keep that pressure at 100 PSI on that line, and then so forth, so on. You can do that. If you are not getting any water whatsoever, go back, repeat those steps as necessary. I hope that this scenario has helped you. I hope that my demonstrative speech has helped you understand just a little bit of how to operate a pump. And I thank you for watching.
What I really appreciate in the case of Matt, I'm going to mute this and just bring it back to any point in the presentation and let it play. Think about how long it would take him to set that up. He didn't necessarily utilize Loom technology, and this may be the same for you. You don't necessarily have to record in that format. As long as we can see your slides, and as long as you're in a circumstance where you feel comfortable, he's got a laptop right there on the music stand in his church, plugged it in to the widescreen TV, set up his phone in such a way to maximize the view where we can see him gesturing in a traditional public speaking circumstance. This looks very similar, that when you're watching it, similar to a classroom circumstance. Watch his eyes, his hands, the closed captioning on the bottom. Is he speaking in a complete sentence structure? And is he referring to his graphics, his text, his images in such a way that is going to help him remain conversational? And you can tell that it is. The advantage to speaking in a demonstrative style for a first assignment in a basic public speaking course is simple. I do it intentionally because when all of you are discussing personal experiences, more often than not, you are going to be your best researcher. You'll feel more comfortable discussing items that are in your personal life rather than something that is more research-based, like the informative and persuasive speeches coming up over the next 2 weeks. If we pause, and you should do this in the same way, his title slide, and then just moving on, his background and responsibilities, giving him credibility as a speaker, gesturing, which you would naturally do. It's a little bit tougher. You might do it like I do on a webcam, but with that small area on Loom, it's tough to see. Then he talks about the pumper. When the tone drops, what happens? What are some of the scenarios? How to operate the pump. And I believe that's the end of his presentation. And then you pick up the closed captioning at the bottom. How is he wrapping it up? Repeating the steps as necessary. I hope the scenario has helped you understand a little bit of how to operate a pump. And that is the end of his presentation. Now I have one other person who, like Matt, was recording off of their smartphone and using their laptop in a different circumstance from the same semester, fall 2020. This is Katie, and she's doing it either in her dorm room or at home. But it's interesting because she is talking about how to take care of your skin, intentionally showing you YouTube videos recorded off smartphones. And here she is.
Hi, my name is Katie Davis, and this is my demonstration speech on how to take care of your skin. First step to taking care of your skin is the morning routine. There's only 3 steps to this morning routine, and that's cleansing, moisturizing, and sunscreen. Cleansing is really important in the morning because you don't realize how much dirt and oil is getting built up on your pillowcase. And so whenever you sleep on your pillow for 8 hours at night, all that dirt and oil gets into your pores and on your skin. So it's really good to just cleanse your skin in the morning and reset it so it's all nice and fresh for the day. And then after you cleanse your skin, you're going to want to go in with a moisturizer. This puts the natural oils and really hydrates your skin back after you just cleansed it. And then lastly, the step is going to be sunscreen. Sunscreen is so important. You don't realize how damaging the sun is whenever you're out there for an hour or even 30 minutes. It really can hurt your skin, and you're not going to realize that putting on sunscreen every day does something, but in 30 years, you're going to really thank yourself for taking care of your skin in the way that it should be taken care of. So the next step after your morning routine is the removal of makeup. A lot of people wear a lot of makeup, and some people don't wear a lot of makeup. They wear a little bit of makeup, but it doesn't matter. The removal of your makeup at night is very important. Some people use makeup wipes, which is very damaging to your skin and the environment. Pulling and tugging on your skin with this makeup wipe really irritates it and causes unnecessary pulling that you should not be doing. So alternatives to that is cleansing balms or micellar water and cotton pads. Micellar water, cotton pads. Cleansing balm is an oil-based cleanser that you can just rub on your face, and it breaks down all the makeup to prepare it for the cleanser that you're going to use after that. And micellar water, you can use cotton pads or reusable cotton pads or microfiber towels and put the micellar water on there and take off all your makeup, and it does the same thing. Basically, it just breaks down all the makeup on your skin and prepares it to get cleansed after that. So going into that, the next step, which is step 3, the cleansing of your skin. This is so important. Also, you need to spend time and find the right cleanser for you. The right cleanser for me is Cetaphil or CeraVe. I'm using CeraVe right now. They have simple ingredient lists. They don't have alcohol or fragrances. It's just very important to know the right cleanser for you. And this has worked for me and a lot of my friends, and so I recommend it to anyone. But if you're really having trouble with this, you need to talk to your dermatologist or a licensed esthetician to figure out what's going to be right for you. But cleansing your skin is so important. A lot of people don't do this, but you can do it. You need to cleanse your skin every single night in the shower, whatever you can do to just make sure that you're cleaning your skin properly. The next step to taking care of your skin is nightly moisture, and that is step 4. Moisturizing is so important. It doesn't matter if you have oily skin or dry skin or combination skin. You really need to be moisturizing your skin, and you need to find a moisturizer that's going to work for you. People who have oily skin, you might not want to moisturize your skin as much because you already have so much oil, but moisturizing is still so important. It benefits your skin in so many ways. Hydration, makes your skin look glowy and beautiful. So moisturization is so important. And that takes us into the next step, which is step 5, and that's spot treatment. If you have acne prone skin or you have a lot of acne and you don't know what to do, spot treatment might not be for you. If you have just like an occasional acne spot come up on your face, maybe once a month or once every 2 months, I don't know. Acne spot treatment is very important, and it really helps me. It's alcohol based, and it really dries out that certain area that you want to like take care of, instead of like putting a drying like face cream all over your face because of your acne. this just focuses on one spot without drying out your whole face. It just dries out the area that needs to be dried out, and that is the area that you have acne. And it won't dry out your entire face, which is what I just said, but very important. And then we're going to go into more tips that you can use to help your skin. One of the tips is all skin types are different. I have very dry skin, and I don't have acne prone skin. I do not get acne a lot, and so this is just what helps me. So if you're having real issues with your skin, again, go visit your dermatologist or licensed esthetician so you can figure out what's right for you. And all skin types are different, so what's right for me may not work for you. You just need to do your research and experiment and find out what's going to work for you. And I think that this is so important. Everyone needs to have a skincare routine that they are confident in and they know that are working. Okay, another step is steer clear from alcohols and fragrances. I talked about this earlier in the slides, but alcohols and fragrances are really unnecessary products that you need to have in your skincare routine. I mean, if you're using it for a spot treatment or something like that, it's not that serious. But alcohols really dry out your skin and are not good for it, so I would just steer clear of that and really look at the ingredient list. Simple ingredient lists are way better and more beneficial for your skin than something that has so many ingredients and you don't even know what they are. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with a simple skincare routine. This is my simple skincare routine, and a lot of people feel like they have to get all these products to help them or do research and buy everything that they see on the internet, but you really don't need all of that. You just need something simple to take care of your skin in a simple way that's going to help you. And I hope that this PowerPoint helped. My name is Katie Davis, and this is my demonstration.
I'm cutting it off there because her recording didn't necessarily catch all of her conclusion, which is why I told you previously, whenever you're done with your presentation, pause 1001, 1002, 1003, and then stop the recording. Obviously, one of the downsides of recording in this fashion is you can't necessarily see the graphics on her laptop closely, but I'm not going to penalize her in that circumstance. Because when we pick this up and just watch it in real time, what do you notice? You notice that she has practiced her presentation so much that she is really being true to the elements of being, one, extemporaneous, because two, that's where the conversationality will flow. Then she refers back from stage one to stage two, picking up a little bit of her audio.
But it doesn't matter. The removal of your makeup at night is very important. Some people use makeup wipes, which is very damaging to your skin and the environment.
On that slide, she's got a combination, as you can see, of 4 bullet points and 2 images. How something like that is going to help discuss her personal experiences with makeup and talking about it in detail. But she's very likable, like Matt, very personable, someone with which anyone who's had issues with makeup can readily identify. Matt and Katie were classmates, and they both earned A's in the course. One of the elements of being quality public speaker is being aware of the ers, the ahs, the ums, the uhs early on. And the more you become aware of them, the cleaner your overall approach to public speaking is going to be. And you can see that with Katie. As we did with Matt, look in the background at her slides. The title slide is called How to Take Care of Your Skin, because of course, in a demonstrative speaking mode, you're going to be using it in a how-to circumstance. And then you can see step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Also pay particular attention to how expressive she is with her facial gestures. The likability shows just from that shot. Then she looks back, more tips, remaining conversational all the way through. And as you saw with Matt, she's using that final visual for quite some time. There is a final image of her before we move on. Most of you, as I've indicated on many occasions, will probably utilize Loom, but if you decide to use YouTube, whatever is in your best interest, which brings us to Loom presentations. We have 2 consecutive speeches from 2 years ago at this time, from the first summer session of 2021. This is Sierra. She is talking about picking a color scheme for home interior decor. Pay particular attention early on to the color scheme, which is intentionally set up in this way for her slides. Webcam, bottom left, nice even spacing all the way around, no wasted space so we can see your face. And this is 2 years ago this week.
Hello, my name is Sierra Putney. Today I'll be giving my demonstrative speech on how to pick a color scheme for your home interior decor. So why can't you just wing it? Well, you could, but I can't guarantee that you'll achieve the effect that you desire from doing so. You might end up with results like these: tackiness, a whole lot of patterns. If that's what you like, then that's okay. But if you want to achieve a more professional, less busy, but more chic look, then you're going to want to plan. Planning also keeps you from wasting money and spending unnecessary time on projects that aren't going anywhere. The first thing you're going to want to do is pick a color. It could be your favorite color or a color that's been on your mind a lot lately, or it could be a color that you know looks good on you, so it must look good around you. It doesn't matter how you pick the color, just pick it and then place it aside because it's going to come in handy later on. Next, you're going to want to decide what kind of vibe you're trying to achieve. This means the theme that you're going for. So are you going for cool or warm? Warm colors such as red, orange, and yellow are usually associated with inviting or welcoming spaces. So this would be nice for places like the kitchen or the living room or a playroom. Cool colors such as purple and blue are associated with calmness and relaxation. So you might want to put these colors in places such as an office or a bedroom, places where you want to be relaxed and calm. The next thing you're going to want to do is examine the colors around you. This could mean looking at cabinets and floors. The reason you're going to want to do this is because cabinets and floors usually have, or sometimes have, warm or cool undertones. And you might want to work around those undertones, or you might want to change the cabinets and floors completely to fit what you want. You're also going to want to look at your trim. Here's a color tip for those types of things. Black and white are classic colors and they go great together. But if you ever want to put them separately or use them separately, then you should remember that black is considered warm and white is considered cool. Actually, crisp white is considered cool. Off-white is considered warm. So if you have, say, trim that's off-white, you're going to want to use a warm color for the walls because cool colors can make the trim look kind of dirty and you don't want that. So once you've examined that around you, then you're going to want to choose your first neutral. And it's okay if your first neutral is white, like we just talked about, because this is going to be your trim. And if you're okay with the trim you already have, then you're just going to want to take note of that trim's color and use it for spaces such as cabinets, the inside of cabinets and closets, those type of things. After you choose your first neutral, you're going to want to choose your main neutral. And this is going to make up 60% of the color that people see throughout your home and that you see throughout your home. So it's going to revolve around that cool or warm theme that we talked about early in the presentation. Let's say you picked a cool theme, so you might want to use a light blue to work with that theme. Many people like to use beige, white, or gray because those are safe colors for main neutrals. If you're someone who can't decide on a cool or warm theme, then you might want to use a transitional neutral, which is a neutral that's going to work well with just about any theme you want to do. If you want to do various warms and cool themes throughout your home, then you might want to use a transitional neutral. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to pick two colors and a third one, which is optional. The first color is going to be that color from the very beginning of this presentation. It's that color that's your favorite or that you've been thinking about lately. And it's going to have a very small presence. This is going to be significantly less present than that main neutral we just talked about. It's going to be maybe on the walls of the kitchen or the bathroom or little accessories. In the photo, you can see that pink is the color that they chose, and it's in the bathroom. Or maybe the curtains. It's not overwhelming. It's not taking up too much of the photo. It's just there to complement what's already there. Speaking of a complement, the second color is going to complement the color that you just chose, and it's going to be even less present. When we're talking about complementing that color, you're gonna maybe want to actually choose a complementary color. And so for that, you're gonna need a color wheel. A complementary color is gonna be directly across from that color that you first chose. So in this case, we chose pink, and a complementary color might be green. So you might want to put green throughout that pink bathroom or something like that. If you don't want to, say, cross and go into a cool color when you started with warm, then you might want to choose an adjacent color like red. So that's pretty much the idea of complementing the color that you first picked. The last color is just going to be an accent. It's mainly for if you have a monochromatic room, which is a room that's basically one color, and you just want to make it pop a little bit, just a little something here or there. It's like a little unexpected surprise. It's pleasant, but it doesn't take up too much. Now that you have all your colors, you're good to go, and you can record them and use them to decorate and paint. So just remember that this is supposed to be fun. This is not a strict set of rules, and it's just a guide. So if you want to tone up some colors or tone down some colors, then that's perfectly fine. Do what's best for you at the end of the day. Thank you for watching.
Notice what Sierra did. She said thank you, and as I'd indicated, after Katie's presentation, 1001, 1002, 1003, stop. Whenever you say thank you, don't conclude the recording right away. Give it a couple of seconds, let it breathe, and as you can see, she's reaching over to officially stop the recording right around the 7-minute mark. I don't know why on some presentations that are on YouTube, they will automatically go into artificial intelligence with the topic. Her introduction. Why can't I just wing it? Pick a color. What vibe are you trying to achieve? Examine the colors you have around you. The main neutral. 2 colors and 1 optional color. And now you're ready to start decorating. The artificial intelligence breaks some of them up, and I don't know why, but it is very nice to appreciate your organizational structure. Let's just go back and play a little bit of Sierra's presentation. Look at her eyes, the concentration on the why can't I just wing it slide with 1, 2, 3, 4 images, this one being truly, what's the nice word to say in an online course? An unfortunate color scheme. Let's go back there and just pause it. An unfortunate color scheme, something that has a lot of paneling, something which looks a little bit nicer aesthetically in the checklist, but she's got 4 different visuals and then 3 bullet points where she breaks down the tackiness, the excessive use of patterns, and finally the mix matching. It comes in very, very handy. Look at her eyes. Notice again that concentration for being an extemporaneous speaker, demonstrating the process. Let's move on. Pay attention to how she's got the webcam set up, framed properly, so she can look at the audience head on with the webcam, while at the same time maintaining eye contact with all of the visuals that she has. In this particular case, 5 images or photos, and then, quote, you're picking the first neutral, and it's okay if you pick white. For all of you, whenever you practice, it will always sound a little bit different each time, which is the essence of being a good conversational speaker. That's certainly appropriate. Excellent job from Sierra. We're going to move on to one of her classmates 2 years ago. You saw Essence with her wildcard speech during the first week of class discussing how to make TikTok videos. Now she's involved in a craft. You've seen different kinds of presentations from your cohorts in years gone by. Cooking, crafting. This is a hobby. She is going to discuss how to create a glass music frame souvenir. This is also available, by the way, on the website where I've got it posted. But as I told you, for some reason, those videos on the website and audios are not playing, which is why many of them have been uploaded to YouTube. This is on the topic of a glass music frame sampler. Here we go.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Essence Thomas, and today I will be teaching you all how to create a glass music frame souvenir. Let's jump right into it. And the pictures you see at the top are examples of what a glass music frame souvenir is and what it would look like by the end of this video. So many ask, what is a glass music frame souvenir? A glass music frame souvenir is typically a glass frame, but it helps you symbolize something special for you. And in this case, it is an album or a song, because everyone has a song that means a special meaning to them that they would like to keep with them. So it's mostly used for weddings, birthdays. It can represent death dates, favorite songs, musical motivation, and it can also be used for home office and room decor. And it's very popular in this generation. Here's an example of one made. The history behind music memories is the use of placing a song or album on something that's transportable and transparent to remember always wherever you go. So, for example, for a soldier, maybe the national anthem will be something that means that's really dear to his heart. A wedding first dance for a newly married couple, a relationship favorite song, maybe a childhood song, or even a high school class song for a graduate to always remember. And here's an example of one of the music frames I made myself for my grandma, and I entitled it Grandma's Hands by the famous Bill Withers. And I also utilized pictures of me and her from when I was first born and when I was 3. These are the items you will need, and most of these items you can get from Dollar Tree and Walmart. The items checklist, you need a glass picture frame, which can be one of the certificates that you can get for $1 at Dollar Tree, You need spray glue. You need Oracle 15 adhesive vinyl, which can be the color of your choice. You need a printer with paper, a computer with the Silhouette 4 app, which I will be showing you what the app looks like. You will need a cutting sheet. You will need a Silhouette Cameo 4 or any Silhouette. It can be a original Cricut that will help too, but in this case, I will be showing you how to use the Silhouette Cameo 4. You will need a weaving tool, transfer tape, and scissors. Here's an example of what my Silhouette Cameo 4 looks like. It's what will be cutting for you. And the green is what the cutting board looks like. And here's the scissors and the weaving tool. And the Silhouette logo, that is what the app will look like whenever you begin to start. And here's a quote that I thought was very appropriate for this occasion. Music at its essence is what gives us memories. And the longer a song has existed in our lives, the more memories we have of it. This was quoted by Stevie Wonder. All right, step 1. You want to gather your favorite song and picture and make sure you have all your items. And when you go into the app, you type in the song as I did in this video, and you want to make sure that you're cutting in Oracle 651. Next, you want to place your vinyl in a Silhouette cutting board and make sure you allow it the full time to cut, or the words will come out wrong, like exactly the way you want it to be. And then once that was completed, you unload the machine. Next, you want to use your weaving tool to remove any of the extra vinyl away from the words, and take your tape to lay on top and make sure you rub it to where the words will come smooth off, because once you put it on the frame, you want it to stick clearly so it will stay. Then you want to print off your picture, the picture that you want to use, and so you can use on the thing. And once you spray it, you spray the front side of the picture and you lay it flat on the frame. And here's a video of me removing the tape from a frame. And as you can see, the vinyl is completely stuck on there and it's not coming off. This is a picture of the finishing product of multiple frames. As you can see, there's a couple of them, and I have used a variety of different colors and pictures, and they really turned out good. And I actually make these as a kind of like a business. So other examples of musical souvenirs that I've done are shown in this video. As you can see, I've also made keychains where you could do the same thing. And those are examples of other musical souvenirs. And I just want to thank you all for watching. And if you have any further questions of where I got my machine from, or if something didn't go right, if you have any further questions, you can email me. Here's my email right here. And I thank you all for watching my presentation. And here is the finishing product of my glass music frame souvenir.
I like the way that she wraps that up, because she's reinforcing her credibility as a speaker. That final glass music frame souvenir is really well done. I want to mute the audio and go roughly to the 4-minute mark for a particular reason. Notice how she is incorporating video into her slides. We'll play it. If this looks familiar, remember the heat transfer vinyl presentation where the speaker was incorporating video that she had shot into her slides. If you take a look at the design of her slides, it looks very similar to a template that you can download from Slides Go. Before the end of the day, I will go back to the Slides Go website and also to the Loom website. As we continue on, we'll just go ahead and play this past the 5-minute mark. She's got her webcam set up in the bottom left-hand portion of the screen. Look at her eyes. You can always tell when someone's being extemporaneous, looking off to the side. They're thinking about what they want to say and going on with examining data points. She's got her timer set up a little bit differently where it's along the bottom. It's slightly bigger for easy readability on the part of the speaker. Here is part of that video clip. Let's bring the audio up.
It's completely stuck on there and it's not coming off. This is a picture of the finishing product of multiple frames. As you can see, there's a couple of them, and I have used a variety of different colors and pictures, and they really turned out good.
So in the last minute, that credibility is really important. Other examples of souvenirs: taking any video clips that are appropriate, placing it into the speech.
As you can see, I've also made keychains where you could do the same thing. And those are examples of other musical souvenirs.
And then eventually, she'll wrap up the presentation. What you notice, and that's an appropriate way to conclude with her visual, she is really doing an excellent job. From the conceptualization of her topic selection, which is what we're discussing today, to storytelling with her slides, the way that she has her webcam in the bottom of the screen, and then taking video from the process that she shot herself and incorporating it into the slides themselves. We've also had a number of interesting cooking presentations through the years. Let me show you one right now. It's just under 5 minutes, but during this time of day, most people would like to have, I suppose, something sweet. This is Jordan from the fall intercession of 2020. It's roughly about 4 minutes, but she really does a nice job discussing the process of making peanut butter blossom cookies. A cooking-based demonstration before we start. She's well set up here with her headshot, head and shoulders. And this is from roughly about 2.5 years ago. Very attractive visuals throughout.
Hello, my name is Jordan Walker, and I did my demonstrative speech on how to make peanut butter blossom cookies. Peanut butter blossom cookies has always been a family tradition during the holidays. And due to the pandemic, we won't get together to enjoy these cookies, but we'll be able to share the recipe and bake them at home and still stay safe. And I will continue this tradition with my 3-year-old brother, and we will bake them for Santa this Christmas. This has been one of my favorite childhood holiday desserts. When I was a little kid, I really didn't eat the cookie. I just ate the kisses, and I still do that to this day. There are a lot of ingredients, but it's very simple and they're very inexpensive. So you will start off with 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, 2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1½ teaspoon of salt, 1½ cup of semi-melted peanut butter, 1 stick of butter, and 2 eggs. And to get the semi-melted peanut butter, you will place it in the microwave for about 3 to 4 minutes and it will be semi-melted. You can also do that with a stick of butter. I also prefer using Jif's peanut butter. You will also need a measuring cup, a non-stick pan, and a mixing bowl. Now it's time to mix all your ingredients together. You will grab your bowl, you will pour your sugars in, crack your eggs, add the baking powder, add your vanilla and salt, pour in the melted peanut butter and the stick of butter, mix thoroughly until the dough is formed and it has a nice texture. Now it's time to roll the dough. You will grab 1 inch of rolled dough, roll it into a nice ball, place the ball into the bowl of sugar, roll it around in the sugar a few times, then you can take it out and place it on the pan. Now it's time to bake the dough. Preheat oven to 350. Put the rolled dough on the pan. Spread the balls out at least 2 inches apart because if it's closer, it might form into one big cookie, and we don't want that to happen. Then you will bake for about 10 to 15 minutes or till it's golden brown to your liking. Then you will let it sit for 2 to 3 minutes. But if you let it sit less than 2 to 3 minutes, the Hershey's will melt and it will be all over the cookie. If you let it sit over 2 to 3 minutes, the cookie will harden and you won't be able to place the Hershey's inside the center properly. If you let it sit exactly 2 to 3 minutes, then place the Hershey Kisses in the center of the cookie, you will have a perfect peanut butter blossom cookie. Now it's time to eat. This is the final product of the peanut butter blossom cookies. I originally prefer using an original recipe because you get to mix, bake, and cook with your family and spend time together. Instead of just going to the store, getting the peanut butter mix, and then just placing the Hershey Kisses, it's not much very fun, but it can still work. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on how to make peanut butter blossom cookies.
I like the fact that Jordan decides to take a little bit of a break there at the end and eat a little bit of the cookie. The one thing I would say in a friendly, constructive manner is if she slows down her delivery just a bit, she can probably add anywhere from 45 seconds to a minute on her overall presentation time. It's not a major thing because when you watch her, and we'll just pick this up and play it with the audio down, it's always apparent to you and me when someone has practiced a lot. She's very polished. She's very smooth all the way through. The personal experiences with the cookies, the very attractive nature of the way she has set up her design. The top line with red, with the cursive font, the larger font style for each of the bullet points, which is going to help any speaker really make certain that they don't trip over their notes. Larger photos such as the Hershey's Kisses, the cane sugar, the peanut butter, all of those ingredients. Depending upon how many takes that you record, it's never going to sound exactly the same. In one case, she may focus on the kisses, and another, the peanut butter, but very focused all the way through, as you can see, with that smooth nature with her overall presentation. Let's pause it. Title slide, how to make peanut butter blossom cookies with her name and 2 photos. Then moving on into what it means to her, the childhood tradition. Then with the ingredients, concentrating on her notes, how you can mix them up. And we see a lot of this for demonstrative speeches with cooking where you'll take your own shots. Even though the bottom one, after they've mixed it up, it almost looks from a distance like a piece of fried chicken. Then you've got the roll time with 2 bullet points, time to bake in an oven, and then let's eat. And let's pick this up where she takes a bite.
The peanut butter mix and then just placing the Hershey Kisses, it's not much very fun, but it can still work. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on.
And also remember, if you look very closely at her shirt, always remember that you've taken the webcam and turned it around so you're not recording in reverse image. Even though she does a really nice job, and we did enjoy Jordan's speech. Keeping in mind that some of you may have cooking as a topic, we move from something sweet to something savory. This is from the fall semester of 2020. Lindsay is going to be discussing the process of making Mexican chicken. And here we go.
Hello, my name is Lindsay McWilliams, and this is my demonstrative speech How to make Mexican chicken. I chose this speech because growing up, my mother made this dish at least once a week. It was always my favorite. Now that I'm a parent, it's my son's favorite. We always eat more than one helping, and it's very quick, easy, and inexpensive. Here's a picture of the first meal that I cooked in our house, and obviously it's Mexican chicken. It's definitely my go-to meal. What you will need: chicken. I prefer to use boneless, skinless chicken breast or tenderloins. I don't like to have to pull the chicken off the bone, but that's just my preference. You will also need 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, 1 can cream of mushroom soup, 1 can of rotel. My mother always used original. I use mild because it's got a little kick to it. The hot is a little too hot for my son's liking, so we just meet in the middle with that. You will also need shredded cheese, Doritos, a deep boiling pot, and a baking dish. Most important, I know this step seems a little silly, but cook your chicken. The very first time I cooked this outside of my mother's house, I was a very immature chef. I did not know the difference between thawing chicken out in hot water and boiling chicken in hot water. So when I started to cook, I was using raw chicken. Luckily, no one got salmonella and the mistake was caught, and I have not done that again since. So boil your chicken and make sure that it's cooked all the way through. And once you've done that, you're going to chop it into small pieces. The more chicken, the thicker the substance. The thicker the substance, the fuller you are. I like to use a lot of chicken. That's the best part to me. Mixing it up. Open all of your canned goods and mix the soups very well and evenly throughout. Then you want to add the chicken. You want to make sure it's mixed up because you want chicken and soup, you want all those flavors in each bite. Layers or no layers. Here's another way you can kind of do it to your own liking. My mother always did a layer of Doritos on the bottom of the baking dish. And then she spread the chicken and soup mixture evenly over that, and then the cheese. You can also do several layers of Doritos, or you can leave off the Doritos. I stopped putting them in because they get soggy after it's been cooked. If you do that, you could always add Doritos after it's cooked to freshen it up and give it that crunch. That's why I wait. I like that crunch. But it's all totally to your own liking. Make sure that the cheese is spread throughout the whole top. You want it really cheesy. You're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees and cook for 30 minutes. You can also tell by the cheese when it's melted throughout. That's an indicator that it's done and ready. Now it's time to serve and get full. This is where I would take my bowl and crumble the Doritos. I like to use a lot, and I like to go ahead and crumble them into bite-sized pieces so I can just eat with my fork. Then you're going to add in the mixture of chicken and soup and cheese and stir it up because, again, you want everything in every bite. Now you get to enjoy. I hope that you'll try my recipe. I guarantee it'll become one of your family favorites. Again, my name is Lindsay McWilliams. This is my demonstrative speech for Fall 2020 Introduction to Public Speaking. Thank you.
By the way, whenever you saw closed captioning on the bottom, Lindsay told me later that she forgot to turn off the closed captioning, so that was actually on her recording. I was not playing it during the presentation. Remember, I was mentioning that the printing on Jordan's peanut butter blossom speech, the printing on her t-shirt was backwards. Always make certain that you turn around your webcam so we're not getting a reverse image. Isn't going to have a bearing on your grade, but there's a point in her presentation, and I'm not sure where it is. She actually holds up a can of Rotel, and we'll see whether or not we can find it. Looking on the bottom to see whether or not she holds it up somewhere in here. But when she holds up the can of Rotel, you can see that the printing is backwards, and I'm double checking on the bottom to see whether or not I can find it. If not, I may come back to this. There we go. Let's play it and then pause. Go back just a little bit. She's going to hold it up in just a moment. Always make certain that you turn the webcam around, because obviously we're getting a reverse image with the Rotel. But that aside, the visuals that she provides with her title slide, why she chose the dish, what you need, very nice job of design consistency to help her remain extemporaneous, as you saw with Jordan talking about cookies. And you see the same thing here with the cooking time, serve, and get full. Let's play a little bit of this and check her extemporaneous ability, checking her eye contact. Most of the individuals that you've seen over the past week have relatively smooth deliveries. Are there issues with vocalics or drop G's? Certainly, but it's nothing that is going to be massively an issue. They are issues that are eminently correctable, which brings us to our final presentation of the day. This is Alexis from the fall intersession of 2020, and she is discussing what it is like to be a mascot. After this, I'll go back to a couple of areas to show you for research purposes. And here is Alexis, who, by the way, is also a mass communication minor.
Today I'm going to be teaching you how to be a mascot. My name is Alexis Rowland, and I'm in your speech class. So my background as a mascot, I was mascot for my high school, my junior and my senior year. I was the basketball and the football mascot, and I was a lion. These are a couple of pictures of me as mascot, and then the skills required that you need to have. I believe that whenever people think of mascot, they think that it is not that hard, and they often underestimate it. But you do have to have a lot of skills in order to become a mascot. You need to have patience. Dealing with kids especially will be difficult at times. I love kids, but they can be annoying at times because they're pulling on your tail, they're running away from you, they're slapping you, they're tickling you. So you need to have patience, and if you don't or cannot gain the patience for the job, then I wouldn't recommend becoming a mascot. You need to be able to withstand heat. Heat is going to be the #1 problem when in a mascot suit. That suit is extremely thick and hot. So whether that be having a camelback or having an ice pack vest, you need to have something to withstand from the heat. You need to be able to handle children. Like I mentioned, children can be annoying at times, but they also have the biggest joy and smile on their face whenever they come to see you. So you need to be able to talk to them without talking to them. So use any form of body language, and you need to be able to get them to have a good time. They are there to see you. So make them happy. That is your job. Your job is to have fun and let others have fun. If you are being miserable, they are miserable. You are there to provide a smile on the fans' face and children's faces, so have some fun with it. You must be able to work with others. If you cannot work with cheerleaders, band members, coaches, fans, teens, kids, then you will not be able to do what you are doing. Even though you are by yourself, technically, you are also still on a team, whether that be the cheer team. You also have to work with anybody. You are still on a team, but you are also by yourself. You must be able to dance or move your body in the slightest. You cannot talk, so any form of nonverbal communication is great. If you're using body language, dance moves, any type of movement to communicate is necessary. If you have to do this for more water, if you want to dance, you need to be able to move your body. You need to enjoy what you're doing, have some fun with it. Don't overexhaust yourself. The heat is terrible in that mascot suit, so anything you can do to not overexhaust yourself. If you're jumping too much, if you're dancing too much, and you can feel that you're about to pass out or you're too hot, go to a nearby bleacher underneath and make sure no one can see you. Take off your head and cool off. You need to enjoy what you're doing, have some fun, and you need to be able to keep a secret. If you can't keep a secret, it's going to be very, very difficult to have fun with it, because if you remove the secret aspect, then they know who you are, and now you're going to be embarrassed more easily. So everyone in my high school pretty much knew that I was the mascot. It was very hard to keep it because there's only 35 in my class, and we were a very, very small school. So everyone already knew. The elementary kids did not know because I specifically did not want to tell any of them. But with that being said, if I had kept the secret away from my high school, then I would have had way much more fun with it. I truly believe that if I kept it from my high school, I would have had more of an aspect of mystery, and I could have done way much more with it. So you will need to be able to try out. Once you try out, and if you have any of these skills listed, and if the cheer coach finds you suitable for the job, then you will be hired and you will become mascot. So you need to prepare for each game. Once you have become mascot, you can prepare. Before each game, I would make sure that I had the choreography memorized. This honestly depends on your cheer team and your high school, but personally for mine, I had to have certain choreography while the cheerleaders had other choreography. You may be able to run with it. I did that most games. Or you may have the same choreography as the cheerleaders. It really depends on your school, but before going into each game, I would know if I was gonna wing it, if I was gonna do a separate choreography than the cheerleaders, or if I was gonna do the same choreography. Make sure that you know what you're doing before you enter the game. I also need to make sure that my suit is washed. It is nasty if your suit is not washed because it's stinky and smelly. You don't want that. Also, make sure that your suit is air dried and not dried in the dryer. If it is dried in the dryer, it will shred to smithereens and cannot be worn again. Lastly, fill up your Camelback with water. Camelback is not necessary, but I would highly recommend it. That is going to be the only thing that will cool you off in that suit. If you wear that, or if you wear an ice pack vest, I would recommend personally the Camelback backpack just because it cools you off and provides hydration. And then if you find one that doesn't leak whenever you freeze the bag. But mine that I had would always leak whenever I freezed it, so I had to get one and not freeze it, just fill up with cold water. At any game, football or basketball, be aware of your surroundings. It is very difficult to see in that mascot costume. You have very small depth perception and you have very small eye holes to see. So you need to have friends on the cheer team or on the band that can move you if there's any inanimate objects being thrown at your face, specifically basketballs or footballs, or if anyone is running to you and they're getting tackled or about to tackle someone. You need to have someone pulling you away or telling you to move. Have some fun with it. The majority of the fans will not know who you are, so it really doesn't matter what you do. Do some fun things. Do a little dance. Have some fun. After the game, leave a couple of minutes before the game ends in order to avoid the crowds in the restrooms. It gets very, very crowded at the end of each game, and it can be very scary if you're wearing a suit and you can't see and everyone is surrounding you. So I personally would recommend going to change before the game ends. Go home and rest. You've had a very long night. You're sweaty, you're tired, take a shower, and wash the suit before the next game. Have a nice day, y'all. Have a nice day, everyone. Thank you for listening to my speech of how to.
Same thing here. Make certain that when you are wrapping up your presentation, you pause 2 to 3 seconds and then officially end the recording. Alexis is an excellent, expressive, extemporaneous speaker. However, remember, look right here, always make certain that you go into the slideshow mode when you're presenting instead of seeing them here. Because it was the first presentation, had no bearing on her grade. Ironically, 1, 2, 3 different styles of webcam sizes that you can incorporate into your slides from Loom. I would probably, if I were Alexis, double check to see whether or not I could access a ring light or turn on a light somewhere in the room or move my webcam to a place where it was a little bit more brightly lit. Small issues, but all of those elements are going to count in the long run. Let's go ahead and mute this and just watch how expressive she is, which I suppose the enthusiasm would come if you're going to be someone who is a mascot. Excellent job throughout, really trying to engage the audience, being expressive, being conversational, and if you have a slide like this with bullet points, it's always helpful. All the way through, just paying attention to the slides that she has and any of the visuals that she incorporates into it. She had to move the webcam location, by the way, because she didn't go into the slideshow mode. It's a small thing, but she does really an excellent job. It is no surprise that everyone that you have seen during the semester earned an A in the course. Is everything going to be perfect for a demonstrative speech early on? No, but that's okay. A couple of items before we wrap up in terms of interactivity, and we are first going to go to Slides Go. Reminding you that on this website, if you want to download any of these templates into Google Slides or Microsoft PowerPoint, you're more than welcome to. You'll remember that the presentation from Essence on the glass frame souvenir looked very similar to what you would have in the education category. So just remember, Slides Go. Also, keep in mind that if you want to look at Loom technology, particularly those of you who are going to be speaking on Thursday and have a little bit of extra time to prepare, here's what you do. Find Loom in a Google search and then just click on the link and it brings you here. The reason you see my face is because I already have an account and I'm accessing it through Google. Some of these videos we watched snippets of earlier in the week, but it's something to consider. Now let's go to my Yahoo account because during class I have received one more presentation. And there we go. This is what it looks like. So now I have 2 speeches. Here's one. I received 2 different links from the same person. And then this was given to me during class. Remember, the Yahoo account is where I want you to send me the documentation. Keep in mind that when you are at Blackboard, there is so much information that you can access. Usually within no more than 20 minutes or so after we've concluded a session, you can access any of these particular videos. Today will be session 5, demonstrative speech topic selection. And in this case, you can watch it, but I'll download it and also put it on my YouTube channel. I showed you at the outset at instructor information, there is now a link to my YouTube channel. With the course syllabus, one more time, our course speaking schedule for tomorrow: Askew, Brewer, Brown, Dean, Easter, Green, Hall, Henderson, Jordan, and Lewis. Thursday, Malone, McCamey, Oliveris, Orvis, Perry, Ray, Roy, Sams, Tell, and Welch. On the syllabus itself, I mention this over and over again, but even though I do that, I know people will still send me links to their presentations through my SAU account, but I really want you to send stuff for the electronic submission of assignments to my Yahoo address, Prof. James Reppert, SAU at yahoo.com. Again, Prof. James Reppert, SAU at yahoo.com. Double check your sent file to ensure that it has been sent to me and that you can open the file without me having to get extra permission to do so, because that is not something that I want to do. Here is the SAU speech critique with those 21 areas for content, delivery, and visuals. That's a checklist. Always consider how any of that is going to help you in terms of overall improvement. So as we wrap up today's class session, keep in mind that the beauty about an online course is being able to record at your leisure, in your own time, at your own pace, and we will only see the version of your demonstrative speech either for day 1 on Wednesday or day 2 on Thursday that you feel best represents your style. It probably will not be perfect in the same way that the speeches we've seen so far, even from A students, is not perfect. Your content will improve as time goes on. So will your delivery, so will your visuals. But all of the items that we have been discussing, the ring light, the location of your webcam, if you decide to shoot on your smartphone, uploading it to YouTube, what is going to be in your comfort zone? That process of how to describe something, giving yourself enough time to set it up in such a way to maximize your overall performance week by week, which is why you have an exact amount of time to get stuff set up. For my day 1 people, I am going to obviously be online within that 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock window. I will give you until roughly 12:30 on Wednesday to make certain that you've got stuff sent to me so I can put it up on the screen and play them back to back to back like we've been doing with all of our other speeches. Most of the time, when we're done with the speech, I will applaud, depending upon how many presentations that are sent to me, because even though there are 10 people supposed to speak tomorrow, occasionally there's some kind of technical glitch along the way. I may talk a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, but those graded speech days, either a day 1 or a day 2, you're the stars, and make certain that everything is exactly the way that you want, realizing that you'll always get better week by week. But don't wait until the last minute, because on those days, that's a requirement to get stuff done. There may be an emergency once in a while, but let's also ensure that you are consistent week by week with the content, with the delivery, with the visuals. Getting stuff to me either by the time you go to bed tonight, or if you're still practicing and you want to get one more in tomorrow or one more in on Thursday, as long as, again, I receive them by 12:30, because I'll come online sometime after 1 o'clock. I just don't want you to send something to me during class where I don't have an opportunity to access it. I want things to run as smoothly as possible. I think we're on the right track to do some good things during the term, and I look forward to examining your demonstrative speeches later on this week. As for SPCH 1113, Introduction to Public Speaking, for the first summer session of 2023, that concludes the recording session for today.